smile, it will increase your face value. I saw this on a poster in front of a restaurant a few years ago, and I was amused by it, but it turns out that it's actually true. And this is supported by all sorts of researches and by science. For example, there was an interesting study done at University of Cardiff, and they showed that people who had Botox injections in their face, if they weren't able to frown because of the injection, after a while, they were happier. Their happiness level increased as opposed to people who were able to frown. Another interesting study was done at the University of Missouri, Kansas, and they showed that actually people who are smiling, especially with a genuine smile, the Duchenne smile that we will talk about in a minute, people who are smiling were perceived, of course, more likable, more competent. That's an interesting one, but also younger. As opposed to people who were frowning, they were perceived as older than their age. And surprisingly, people who are smiling, they were perceived as thinner. So just like we were talking about laughter before, if we want to look thinner, at least a smile, especially a genuine smile, definitely makes us look more younger, more beautiful, radiant, more welcoming, thinner. And another interesting research showed that actually smiling when we are working out, when we are running, it's connected to using less energy. So it's not more enjoyable only. Let's say if we listen to amusing podcast while we are working out, we use less energy and the effort is less, as opposed to when we are frowning, we use more energy during the workout. So smiling also apparently is connected to physical endurance. And it has many health benefits, actually. And this is also based on research, especially neuroscience, showing that when we are smiling, the brain goes into this party mode and it releases those good chemicals, the serotonin, the endorphins, and the dopamine. So they are associated with decreased stress, with the ability to deal with stress better. Serotonin, usually it's low when we are dealing with depression. So higher levels of serotonin when we are smiling, it's a good natural antidepressant. And endorphins, they're also called the happiness hormones, and they're also connected, they're natural painkillers. So when we are happier, we manage pain much better, as opposed to when we are also emotionally suffering and being unhappy. The threshold for the pain, it's much higher and much lower. Actually, we have less tolerance for pain, so the pain is more acute. So other health benefits to smiling are lower blood rates, it strengthens the immune system. It also is associated with lower rates of getting sick, of illnesses. And it's a mood lifter, it's an antidepressant. Apparently, it's associated with longevity as well. There are interesting studies showing that smiling often can prolong our life up to 20%, which is very interesting. The same as laughter, as we were talking before. Not only it prolongs our life, but the quality of our life, it's much better. And smiling, it's actually it's a universal language across cultures, and it is a language of openness, of welcoming, of love, of gratitude, appreciation, generally it's a language of satisfaction versus dissatisfaction. So when but ultimately it's an attitude. Smiling is a reflection of our relationship with life itself. As they say, when we smile, life smiles back at us. When we are angry, the world is angry back at us. So this relationship, this attitude towards life it's what creates ultimately our life experience. And it affects our work, it affects our relationships. Smiling are associated with healthier and longer marriages. It's much easier to live with a person that most of the time has a smile on their face rather than maybe they forgot for a very long time to smile and they are constantly frowning and they seem dissatisfied and grumpy. And so it's easier because, again, smiling opens up and reflects our relationship with life. And I will share a funny story about this. There was this little girl who was coming back from school, and on her way back, the weather suddenly changed and it started raining heavily and with thunderstorms and lightning. But she kept walking. It was a heavy storm, so everybody was trying to find shelter. She kept walking, and every time there was a lightning, she would raise her head and put a big smile on her face. So she kept walking, and another thunderstorm and lightning comes up. She raises her head with a big Duchenne-like smile on her face, and she keeps doing this. So somebody from the street, everybody again was trying to hide from the rain and from the storm, and they saw this little girl, and they saw how every time there is a lightning, she keeps doing the same thing. She's pausing, she's raising her head and throwing a big happy smile to the sky. The person stops the little girl. It's like, well, what are you doing? You should find shelter. You shouldn't. Why are you walking in the rain? And why do you, every time when there is a lightning, why do you stop and smile to the sky? And the little girl was, well, God keeps taking pictures of me, so I'm smiling when he's taking pictures. So this shows a really good attitude towards life and even towards the thunderstorms of life and the difficulties. So if we can have that attitude, the weather is still the way it is, but when we put a smile on our face, it really changes our experience of the weather rather than we have to deal with the weather anyway. And on top of it, if we put a frown, we not only have pain, as they say, but we have suffering as well. So laughing and smiling, they're connected to our relationship with life and with others as well. And what's interesting also, what researchers show is that when we are smiling, even if it's a fake smile, let's say if we put a pencil in between our teeth, if it's a fake smile, what researchers show is that actually tricks our brain into thinking that we are happy. So when we smile, even if it's a forced smile, the brain starts producing these good chemicals in the brain, the dopamine, the serotonin, the endorphins, and that actually makes us happy in return and increases our happiness, our elevated mood. So Again, we don't have to feel like smiling. We don't really have to have a reason for smiling. But if we smile regardless, unconditional smiling, regardless of any reason, then again, not only life seems to smile back at us and the world with it, but also our brain activates our natural brain pharmacy with a good chemicals in there. There is this beautiful quote from Thich Nhat Hanh. He said that sometimes your joy is the source of your smile, but sometimes your smile can be the source of your joy. So this is definitely true. And related to that, so with laughing, I had that presentation before of about laughing and its amazing benefits. Um, well, if we have difficulties, laughing because, again, researchers show that we laugh 30 times more when we are with others than when we are by ourselves. We can laugh when we are by ourselves as well. We can watch a comedy. We can remember a good, funny memory. We can send or read a joke. Or there are many ways nowadays, especially with media, to have access to this medicine. But with smiling, it's so much easier actually. And again, smiling can be unconditional. We don't necessarily need a reason for it. But just putting a smile on our face, even early in the morning when we wake up and then looking for the sun. And if it's not there, if we smile, maybe the sun will come up faster. But at the same time, actually, a real inner healing technique, an ancient healing technique is what's called the inner smiling. So we can put a smile on our face, and we can even close our eyes and smile to different parts of our body, from the top of our head to the tip of our toes, and making sure that we take each part of our being, of our body, and give it a welcoming, grateful smile, smiling to our hair, to our head, to our eyes, even to our mouth, and going down, making sure that we don't dismiss, we don't neglect any part of our body, especially the parts that might have health issues. This is actually a healing technique. So if we have a stomach problem or a liver problem or the knees and arthritis and all of those chronic problems, smiling, again, this is supported by science, because when we are smiling, I was saying before, the brain releases all of this natural good medicine with the endorphins, the serotonin, the dopamine. So all of this facilitate healing. They're good for healing. So also smiling to our problems when we have difficulties and we feel the pain in our body, we can connect to that part. We can smile at it. So again, smiling opens up, relaxes the muscles, relaxes the body. So it gives the body, it strengthens the immune system. It gives our system all the right conditions for healing, rather than interfering with healing. So I will strongly encourage you at least once a day to pause and smile the inner smile. And we can also smile to the little one inside. And definitely outside, smiling is a gift. When we smile to others, when we have, just like makeup, it's actually so much better than makeup when we put a smile on our face. Again, our face radiates, and it shows well-being. It shows and that's contagious. Smiling is contagious, and that state, it's transferred to others as well. As a matter of fact, researchers show that when we smile and others see our smile, it creates that brain synchronicity. So our brain, it's in synchronicity with the other people's brain, and it's connected on the frequency of smiling. So all of this, again, it's a free, simple gift that we can choose it. We can choose it unconditionally. It benefits us. And I was saying earlier that to our brain, it doesn't matter if the smile is fake, because it still activates the happiness response. But to others, it matters. And I was mentioning earlier about the Duchenne smile. So apparently there are about 19 types of different smiles, and not smiles are created equally. And there are it all depends where we are coming from, the place inside where we are coming from when smiling. So the Duchenne smile, it's called a genuine, real smile. And how we tell the difference physically on our face between a real smile and just a formal, not fake necessarily, but it's it's more a formal, distant smile. It's not connected necessarily to the opening of the heart. So the Duchenne smile is done with the eyes rather than just the mouth. So the muscles of the eye. So let's say if a formal smile, it's I'm crying. Usually I have a Duchenne smile, so it's hard for me to separate them. But it's just with a smile. I remember when I came to Canada, I was working at the restaurant, and I was working as a waitress, and people would come in for lunch and they would have this smile. And by the time I would respond smiling back, their face would go flat. And I was so confused. I didn't understand. Like, they were smiling or they didn't, because immediately the smile would shut down. So that definitely wasn't a Duchenne smile. It was a polite, formal smile, but not a genuine, real smile. So while the brain doesn't really mind what kind of smile it is, as long as we smile often, others can see it, can see the difference between just a formal, let's say not fake, but formal smile, and the real, welcoming, wholehearted smile. And those real smiles, especially when we look at people in the eyes, and again, it's they say that the eyes are the windows of the soul. And that's true. That's definitely true in the Duchenne smile. When we smile with our eyes, we open our heart. It's a genuine opening, welcoming smile, and that's a beautiful gift that we can give again to ourselves, because the smile affects us first, and then to others. And it makes, again, life is the way it is, just like weather, but our life experience, it's much more enjoyable, much more pleasant. It affects our health in a positive way. So it has all of these benefits that really, once we know, and again, it's supported by science, it's worth taking advantage of it. So now another interesting fact that I noted here, and this is really, really a cool fact. Apparently, when we are smiling, the brain receives, smiling is better than chocolate. And this is an intriguing fact. I had a hard time believing this. So I think I will have to do this, to try this research on my own to see if it's true or not. But what researchers show is that, so the pleasure that smiling, again, it activates those good hormones in our brain. The pleasure of produced by a smile, it's better than chocolate. And apparently one smile is the equivalent of 2,000 bars of chocolate. This was shocking. So I still have difficulties remembering those numbers, because like, what do you mean 2,000 bars of chocolate? Like just one smile. So to the brain stimulation of one, especially genuine smile, it's equal with eating 2000 chocolate bars. So I guess maybe that's why people who are smiling more often, they at least look thinner. But if they eat less chocolate, they gain less weight as well. So all of this, I hope all of this are convincing you not to live any day without smiling. Again, laughing we might find excuses for not having a reason to laugh every day. Although remember, we need at least no, we don't need at least. That's a different research. Sorry, mix them up. But again, we don't. Smiling can be unconditional, and if you have, if a day goes by and you forget to smile, please give me a call and I will remind you. And if I won't be able to answer the phone at that time, you don't have to worry, because for over 15 years, the end of my phone greeting says, "And don't forget to smile today." So you can call me as often as you need a reminder to smile, especially when you really need one and you don't find a reason. Hopefully, even just my phone greeting will give you a reason. And besides, remember, smiling does increase our face value. So instead of too much makeup or other ways we're working too hard at the gym, smiling will always do it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please share and subscribe and spread all of this that might help. You can never know who knows a smile, who needs a smile at the moment, and it might come just in time. Thank you, and until next time.